Hi Collective, welcome to the channel, Cosmic Divine Dreamer. Hi everyone. So this is going to be a big reveal for all of you, that I'm finally putting my twin flame journey out there for all of you to be able to see, right? Okay. So there's been just so much that has went on with my journey, and so much like confusion spells and so much against me. It's been 2 entire families, not to mention all of the karmics that have been put on my path in my journey that have been working against me, where it has literally been more than a dozen individuals that are constantly sending black magic, spell work, and things like that my way. Not to mention, this has been put against me ever since I was a young child. Okay. It's like the chosen. I was talking about this in my reading yesterday, which was interesting that it got flagged and they put a little informational thing on the video. I didn't put that just because of what I was talking about. It's very cute though that they still have it up there. While it still is, you guys might want to take a look about some other corruption, because it's the same corruption. I don't want to flag the names. So definitely were going on within the twin flames, but they very much knew who the chosen were, right? So, you know, you've heard in the twin flame journey that you will have the same upbringing as, you know, as your twin, right? That you're going to have similar childhood and things like that, which is very much true. I had no idea that it was going to be identical. Okay. It was like, I always knew that I was born into a very dark family. You know, I grew up having my father being a drug addict and to my mother being an alcoholic, and they were both completely, so much had went on within the family. So much like just murder, suicide, just all sorts of stuff going on within the family that, you know, we were isolated. I was put away from the family, which is mainly probably better that I didn't know my family, that I was just, you know, raised by my parents. And, you know, and I think that maybe they were trying to save us, right? Or maybe it was also running from the law, because that's really why we'd moved far away too, because of the things that had happened. Like, my father was in a secret society. He was definitely, you know, a leader in the Masons. And all these distractions, I don't want me to get this out, right? So there was a lot of things that were done, right, into places that I was brought around as a child. You know, I was sacrificed as a young child. I was sexually abused, you know, in these groups and everything, sacrificed within these things, having things happen to me. You know, it's been a lot, right? Torn down ever since, you know, I was little. It was like these demonic possessions, you know, being gifted. I can see demons and demonic stuff when it's in people. I can hear it and things like that. So knowing that both my parents, you know, had these, you know, they were sadistic narcissists, but they also had demonic possessions and attachments and things like that to them. So, you know, I had to do my best to isolate, stay away from, you know, them as much as I could, try to heal myself or whatever. Like, you know, it's, you know, they sacrificed my brother as well, which was he was also, you know, an earth angel that came down here. You know, we get born into these things to try to expose these families, right? And reveal them for what they were, but he just escaped and got away, you know, and abandoned me and stuff. So I was all alone to fight these things. And but anyway, so, you know, like my self-worth, everything was very much down. I went down a very, very dark path. Not to mention, you know, they got me addicted to drugs, alcohol, all sorts of stuff as a young teen. My own mother was buying cigarettes and booze, getting me every week to infuse with those to my father, you know, giving me prescription drugs as a young child. And I'm doing a reading, baby. You know, and luckily with all of this, not yet, baby. Luckily with all of this, I still, you know, decided that I wanted to, you know, to be able to have children, right? And to turn my life around and everything. And I decided to have my children young because I was told with developing cancer, due to the due to the abuse that I had developed, you know, the virus that attacks women and everything, due to them, you know, not getting me medical attention, all sorts of stuff, and taking care of things when I was a young girl that, you know, was attacking my me be able to have children. So, you know, I wanted to have my children young, right? And I always felt as though I was going to have a very young life, but I wanted to be able to have children, right? So I went down that path or whatever, and but little did I know, right, that I was sought out by a more narcissist and things, because when you're so broken like that, you attract what you know, right? So I attracted more people just like my parents, right? And I was the same way. I was having narcissistic tendencies and things like that because I didn't know, and, you know, didn't know any better. I didn't know what a healthy relationship was. I didn't know all of these things. So, you know, I ended up having a couple different relationships and children. So I ended up having karmic children that were going to have the same wounds that I had, right? Which, in fact, the enemy has been able to get into them and been able to use them against me, right? So it was kind of like, you know, not to mention when you're sacrificed and you're solicited as a young child and you're put into these, you know, you're sex trafficked, like our parents made money off of us, not to mention the life insurance policies. This is what I'm finding out, that they did the same thing with my twin as well, that his family was just as dark and narcissistic, that they were in a secret society as well, and cults. And let me explain too, when people hear cults, I had a beautiful reader to explain to one of my star family members, that, you know, when people hear cults, they think, oh, they're putting on the hoods, they're chanting, they're sacrificing animals and things like that. You don't realize that cults is just a group of people that all have the same beliefs and sacrifice and do things. And she had brought up the Mean Girls movie, if you all have seen that, with the girls. Like, they had the burn book where they wrote down all the things, and it was a group of them that were going to take down just a young girl. It's things like that, like, you don't realize. And they have weaponized religion, right? And I was recently brought to the attention, Jesuit, that's his family. His family thinks that they think that they're these very, very Christian people, right? Because they're very, very obsessive, but because they're so wounded, they don't realize that they have wounds and all of this. Maybe they do, but worshiping too much, you can still impose there's demons and stuff that run through the religious community due to obsessions and the sacrifices and things, because a lot of families get born into these cults not realizing it, that they have weaponized religion, that when you go worshiping and chanting and things like that, and the sacrifice and things like that, you don't realize what's happening. So at first, like, when he got awakened to his family, like, I could see the demonic possessions all that. I'm like, do they even know? Like I you know, and like, I wanted to heal his mother, because his mother, you know, is all alone and stuff, has been through multiple marriages and all this, and very lonely and by herself. So when I seen the attachment she had on her son, my twin, I was like, you know, it's, you know, 'cause she's afraid of being alone, things like that, because it was like, I didn't want to see all of it. I've always just been like, well, I'm going to save them, right? Like, when I found my twin, you know, we were both struggling with the same addiction and didn't even realize it, but I knew that it wasn't time yet. Because, see, you will come in alignment with your twin. There's something with the eyes. When your eyes, you activate each other, you awaken. So I've been on this twin flame journey for 8 years that I've been aware of, right? And really longer than that. It's been over 10 years, actually. But I've been awakened to it for 8 years, knowing about it, right? Because you will get the downloads, the connections. You will receive it as you awaken. See, I started to awaken. He did not. But we came into alignment with each other. And it was too much, you know, that we repelled each other, whatever. But it's still supposed to, you're supposed to come into alignment. It's supposed to teach you to go down your paths. And then you can come back together magnetically. Well, what happened is, you know, I went down my my different path or whatever, and it was like he was always hovering whenever I'd get out of a relationship and things like that. And the worst parts, when you're struggling and things like that, they come into your life as like a catalyst to pull you up, to help you and things like that. So you may notice that you come in alignment with these people at very difficult times or whatever, even if it's just for a brief part or whatever. But it was like I was so like struggling and codependent, insecure, and had abandonment issues and all of that. Like, I didn't feel lovable enough, so I went down a path of picking relationships where I felt that people that deserved to have love, you know, that didn't that weren't going to have, I don't know. So I picked a lot of people that had a lot of like mental illnesses and trauma to physical illnesses and things like that as relationships. Like I was so beaten up, guys. Like even I got to a point where, because I knew that I was, you know, sex trafficked, it took an advantage of, you know, at a young age, and had my innocence stolen from me, that it made me want to be, well, you know what, I finally was like, well, all these guys are always hitting on me, flirting on all this, why don't I just go and be an escort? And you know, so I almost went down that path, right, of making money that way, because by then I was a single mom with my children, and I didn't know, you know, I didn't have that self-love for myself. But I'm so glad that my angels got to me before I decided to go down that path, and they blessed me in other ways, because I was in the same situation where you know, I was in a house and I didn't want to lose it with my kids, so I was really getting ready because I was like, it's a way to get fast money, at least I'll be supporting my kids, you know. But I was saved by my angels, right? And so I didn't go down that path or whatever. And so I started to awaken, and then they were showing me the twin flame journey and all of that. And so I went on this, you know, witch hunt looking for my twin flame. I went through my false flame, because I thought, oh, if you're awakening this to me, then the person that I'm with is my twin. Hell no. It was my false twin. It was so abusive and crazy, and oh my gosh, like he probably still watches me and thinks that I'm his twin, right? No, I almost got killed, like due to the fight. Like, oh my gosh, like I really think that the angel, like, oh my gosh, like okay, love and light and healing, that's all I ever send, because that's what's so sad, is these mental illnesses and these things that like he was getting possessed by a lot of demons, right, as they do attack people that have mental illnesses more so, and things like that. But anyway, I want to get off track with that. So, you know, when I finally realized, you know, that nope, all right, so you can't go looking for a twin, because that's why you'll often hear it's often somebody that you it would be somebody you would have never never guessed, right? Well, it ended up being, when I finally, and I didn't even realize that it was my twins who were actually together, because of all of just the similarity. And it's like when you feel like you're arguing with yourself, when you realize that just everything, they're just like all the flaws, all of those things, that it's like a mirror due to everything. That he had cancer, the same type of cancer, but in the male form, right? And he had went through sexual abuse and trauma, and you know, he doesn't even know that it was initiated by his evil family. He doesn't even know that his family is in this evil, that they're fucking possessed by the Jezebel. Oh my gosh. And it's all corruption, and that his mother she did all of this to be able to bind him. She does so much stuff to him that it confuses his sexuality. I've seen all of this stuff. She's just so much spell work, so much stuff is sent upon us, right? And it's like when we got together, like the most chaos that was a number one sign too. We had so much things that were against us, like literally our entire connection. Like we had only ever been on 2 dates, ever, our entire thing, because demons were always getting sent into my children. And I just remember thinking like, oh my gosh, I had like the sweetest little children, and now all of this stuff is happening. And at the same time, then all of a sudden, then the fathers, you know, came back, and it was like, you guys have left me alone being a single mom for years. But now when I get together with somebody, you know, that's younger, you know, because he was younger than me by almost 2 years or whatever. That's also why you have those different age things or whatever, where you often didn't, you know, don't think about these things. But so our children were constantly being used, right? And then when we did go on our date, like it was a fight, and took us 2 hours just to even leave that night, to even try to go have our date for 2 hours. Like, so anyway, we've just had so much against us in the fighting, and everybody turned against us. To, you know, to my daughter, like, if you're with them, I'm leave. Like, she ended up going to go live with her dad and her dad's family, and I lost my daughter for a while, and just all of this stuff, you know, that was getting sent our way. And it was like, but me, as I started to go down the spiritual path, see, this is where like he was brought up in a very religious family, right? So like he's very, very religious and I'm very spiritual. So we've had our clashes and our battles and stuff, but the love has been so much like that we've been able to overcome it. Like I've been trying everything I could to awaken him, to getting him to, you know, to see my, there's been times when it gets so heated that he's throwing my tarot cards and flipping stuff over and everything. But it's one of those, like, you can't force, you know, somebody to awaken, right? So I've just been so patient, just been trying to, you know, to just wait, right, for these different alignments, different things to happen or whatever. But he's just been getting so focused on the 3D world and the physical, and then addictions. Like when I found him, he was heavily addicted, going to the clinic, right? So he was getting the legal, you know, medicine or whatever that they do, that his mother was condoning and bringing him to getting every single day, and she spoon feeds him his fucking addictions and gives him money to let him go. Like, it's so messed up. And then anytime there's a brush, she'll go pick him up, bring him to the house, and then it's like, then I get him back, I gotta battle these demons back out of him because I'm able to do that, right? And it's like, so she's just condoning and is screwed up just so much control, right? And it's like the hardest thing, like I had to walk away from my family. Like my mother got back involved, and then it ended up, we lost our house. She was slashing my car tires and you know, and destroying our vehicle that we had gotten together, and just like everything. Like, but I knew that it was demonic possessions, and just I had to get away from her. So, you know, we gave up everything and lost it all, and that's why we've been, you know, living in hotels for like a year now. Like I've given up everything, walked away from my family, but he's not strong enough to see his family for as they are, right? I've tried everything to get him just to walk away, you know, and but it's the hardest thing, because he won't, it's like he's stuck because they have such strongholds, right? Same thing, like he was sexually abused as a child. He was trafficked too. His own mother did this and allowed it to happen. And it you know, these sex demons get put upon you, and you have to be able to be strong enough to battle them out and to break these curses. And you have to walk away from your family, right? And I've been talking about that the twins, you know, they got to walk away. He doesn't realize that our families were used against us. Then karmic friends are put in. Karmic friends, you know, they want, oh my gosh, they encourage your addictions and things like that. Like he was shutting out so many friends at first, but there's just a few he can't let go of, and he doesn't realize that they're being used against him, and they're literally buying into his addictions and getting him back into these things. And it's been so much, like I've been going to Source Divine so much for help, because it's like we'll have these beautiful moments together and there's no demons, you know, but then it's like he goes to work and comes home and just see more demons, right? And it's so hard to hold yourself back to not do demonic transfer through sex and things like that. So then, you know, that causes problems. And then he's developed mental illnesses, right? So he's got the complex PTSD disorder, right? He doesn't, his self-worth, just everything. I've been working with him, he just doesn't feel lovable. He's so self-conscious, right? Everything. And then right after we lost our house, like I had to go live with him and his mother's. That's really when it got all awakened to me, and that's when I got to see everything for as it was, and I got to experience everything that he went through, right? And oh my gosh, like that's why he's got so much pain and everything, and he doesn't realize that he keeps running to, you know, it's like that's his only support system, but his own support system fucked him, you know? So it's like, I don't know how to save him with getting him to walk away. So he was constantly getting manipulated and controlled, and his mother has been doing so much spell work and so much black magic and turning everybody against and sending all of this stuff our way. And it's been such a fucking fight and everything, where I finally I had to release him. I had to let him go just to save us, because to me, he's going to have a better life. I don't know. It's one of the hardest things, because it's like, the love that he had that we had together was like no other. You know, it was so beautiful when it was okay, but it was like he had turned so dark. He was getting used against me. She had turned him into an evil, corrupted twin where half the time he was being controlled by demonic possessions and fighting and destroying everything. And I'm like, it's blocking me from my spiritual path. That's why sometimes these twin flame journeys, like, you have to sacrifice your own twin. Like, you have to let go, because he can't awaken if he doesn't let go of this family, and if he doesn't walk away. But because she's got her fucking claws in him so much when he was younger and destroyed his ego and shattered him, right? And everything that he'd went through, not to mention, you know, and you imagine, you know, having cancer as a male. When you're a woman, your parts are inside, right? And you're a male, they're not. So just everything has just been so, you know, and he took the medical route and had to go through, you know, all of that, because it was her fucking choice what to do with his body and to do with him. You know, she did all of that. I was so defiant. I was like, I'm not getting caught on. I went to natural methods. The beautiful stuff that got gross, right? That, you know, to heal myself. Very much cures cancer. That's why it's illegal, and that's why alcohol's legal. The stuff that numbs your body, shuts you off from source. Yeah, let's make that legal. Okay. But that's what I mean. Like, so there's so much trauma. So that's why I've been saying that my twin flame journey is corrupted, because it was corrupted by the evil. But, you know, she works through him. I know that the bitch has been scrying the whole fucking time, always sabotaging everything. I knew it. Like, I knew it from the very first thing. Like, I wanted to show you guys, like, she just sabotaged everything. Like, you know, me being a Cancer, like, remember I told you my whole path, like, I've never been in love before. And it's like, so we knew each other, right? 10 years ago, we worked together, whatever, and he wanted to pursue me or whatever. We knew there was something, but I was such a mess. I wasn't ready. So we didn't pursue things. I was like, I have to get myself right. I got to get myself good. So finally, when I started to build this business, you know, 3 years ago now, when I started to, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to get right. I'm not going to depend on anybody, because I knew that was always my problem, you know, that I relied on other people to help me take care of me and my children. I didn't feel good enough. So I was like, I have to feel good enough about myself. I've got to find a way to support me and my kids on my own. I pushed everyone out. It was just me and my kids, right? And I started building my business, right? Or this channel, right? And stuff. And then that's when he came back around, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, all right. Like, he didn't have anything going on. Like, he was living with his mother. He didn't have nothing going on, right? And I was like, you know what? I love that you have nothing, nothing to offer me. And he was like, what? What do you mean? And I was like, I love that you have nothing to offer me. We can literally get together right now and build our lives and have everything, right? And stuff. So sure enough, got him to come move in with me and everything. And it was so beautiful. 23 on the clock, as they say that. So we were starting our journey. That's what I mean. Like, we had gotten guided to one of the biggest houses, beautiful houses that I have ever lived in. Biggest house I've ever lived in. We got together, right? And then I got my brand new, my SUV, my Denali that I always wanted. It was pearl. It was so beautiful. We were starting our life. And then I wanted to help out my evil mother. I felt bad because my father died a couple years ago, and I thought maybe she's not so wicked now if she's not drinking and fighting with him. I really wanted to help with my children, because my children were still, you know, acting out, being crazy, and I didn't want it to destroy us. So I was like, let me move her in the house with us, and you know, she'll help with the kids. We'll be able to go out on a date, you know, and stuff, because I didn't have anybody that I could trust with my kids. I always had my kids around, right? But little did we know then the demons, you know, came out of her. She destroyed everything, right? Destroyed our new vehicle, our home. We lost our home and all of that. So that's when I finally realized that, you know, that, yep, my mother's so wicked and evil and out to destroy us, right? So, That's what I mean. Like, you can get together with nothing, and the love that you have, you will attract everything that you need, right? Oh, I went off base with one of the stories. So, yeah, so this whole time, you know, that's why I lasted at his mother's house like 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks, and I had to get out of there, right? So I thought we'd be okay, but this whole time he's been going back and forth, you know, to her house, leaving me in hotels by myself every time coming back, right? Which is so much against us. But anyway, so all right, so hold on, I'm doing my reading. Yes, it's plugged in by the clothes rack. So it's plugged in over there by the clothes. So I was saying, so anyway, I was saying how I never felt that love before, right? Until him, right? So I really wanted to do something romantic and everything for him. And the first night that we had reconnected, that we'd finally got to see each other, which we call our first date. So we took a picture that night, and I found that picture. And of course, by the time it was our first Valentine's Day together, that's when we wanted to do something romantic. So I had to go through my phone, and you know how many photos I take? Like, oh my gosh, it took me like days to go all the way through all of my photos, go back like 6 months or whatever it was, and to find this photo. And then I found a way to go get it printed, and then of course I get it printed in like a weird size, and then I had to look all over to find a picture frame for it. And I had wrapped it or whatever, and I was waiting to give it to him Valentine's Day. And then, of course, the world, he had to work and all this stuff. And then, you know, you get home or whatever. And then he's like, well, we have to go to my mother's. Because I had bought his mother a gift. You know, I felt bad for her. He's like, we got to go to my mother's. And she's like almost an hour away. And I'm like, whatever. Well, let's go there. Then we got stuck there. And I was like, I wanted to do your gift when we got back. But when we go to her house, and the bitch had got my photo. It was the exact photo that I was giving him, and got it in a bigger picture. And said, here, I wanted to give this to you guys on Valentine's Day. And I was just like, I was so upset. I was like, oh my God. You know, that's when I knew that the bitch was crying and that everything I was feeling was right. That's when I knew, like, oh my God, like, how am I ever going to get him away from her? So that was just so destroying. And then I was all upset. And because he's my twin, he always knows when I'm upset. So then he was just so upset with me on the way back and was fighting with me, ruining our Valentine's Day because I wouldn't tell him why I was upset. Then he thought it's because we went to it. Like, what do I say at that point? Obviously, I'm like, yeah, your fucking mother's evil. She's an evil fucking witch, just like mine. Like, I didn't know how to tell him. And this day, he still doesn't understand, like, everything that I went through to try to make that beautiful or whatever. So as I finally ended this relationship, like, I was still trying to show him, like, I smashed the glass out of the picture. I sent it to him. I said, I tried to show you the signs. I tried to tell him that she was always one up in my gifts. It wasn't the first time. And then on his birthday, I got him a very beautiful cross and a ring. And then she had to go get him a necklace and a cross. And he's trying to wear both of them. But it was just... She was one-upping everything, belittling everything. And it was like to show me that the bitch knew what she was doing, right? But anyway, like, I wanted to show you guys, like, this is the picture. And you could probably tell. A lot of people even said, like, you know, we look like twins, right? But that was our first night when we finally reconnected. It was like 7 years. Like, we'd always check in with each other and stuff. I'm still gonna keep it, but yeah, I broke the glass out of it. But and then when I was looking at the picture frame, I was always trying to tell him, we gotta go. Like, we have such a big mission. I want to go to LA. I want to go to New York. There's places that we have to go. We have to do. I tried everything to get him to move with me, leave with me, you know, but he just wouldn't do it because I thought at least if we put distance or whatever. Well, after I had smashed the picture on the floor a couple weeks ago, I see, look at what it says. Los Angeles, New York. Like, that's where we're supposed to go. If he would have just left his family and walked away, if he would have chose me over his family. But he couldn't do it. And then at the same time, it's like, if he wasn't ready for it, he would have resented me. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the hardest things, these twin flame journeys, you know. They're not, that's what I mean. They're not, there's so much, and it's everything that we've been through. Like, that's how I knew too. Like, he's the only person that's like never just walked away from me, or like go to his mom's or whatever, leave me, choose her. But like, he'd always come back, all of the struggles and things to triggering all of these things. He was the only one that would know how to calm me down. He got me to open up to affection. Like, I didn't know how to be affectionate. I didn't know how to, like, go hug and kiss and things like that, because I wasn't ever hugged and kissed as a child. I didn't know how to, like, things like that, right? So he just would, he could just grab me and force me to hug him and kiss him and show me and open things up. Like, it's just little things. Like, you'll notice, like, there's so much, like they know how to work with you, that he's the only one that's been able to flip my mind, calm me down, get me out of my trances and things like that would happen, you know, laugh at me when I'm being ridiculous instead of never call me hurtful things, never do things. But it's like, this past, like, it's like the spell work, like, she upped it. She did more things, and then get him controlled by addictions. Like, when he'd sneak off and go drink because he didn't have the heart to tell me or whatever. And then that's when he started to act out and be abusive and say hurtful things, do hurtful things, and destroy things, because I knew it wasn't even him. I knew it was the entity that had control over him. But it was like, yeah, these are like the hardest things. You know how hard that it is when you know that it's like your twin and you can't save them, and you can't just, you gotta sacrifice them. You have to let them go. But ultimately, you know, it awakened me. I had so many gifts too that came in. I went through such accelerated awakening, advancement. That's why I've just been isolating and, you know, working on the career, trying to find more ways to save him and heal him. But then ultimately, I guess, he felt as though that I wasn't interested enough, and, you know, so he told me that he lost interest and all of this stuff, you know, a couple months ago, because I've been working so hard and trying to find ways to save him. So, yeah, these twin flame journeys, you know, they're, you know, I know that we came to expose these corrupt things, and, you know, his family's going to be exposed at some point. You know, you can only get away with so much, you know, and I know that it took crossing me. Like, you don't cross God's chosen, so I know that we're walking karma. So, yeah, now I know that all of the karma and everything is going to be coming down. His family will be getting exposed. And maybe that will be my justice, that everything that I tried to tell him, you know, will be exposed, will be put out there, and then he'll finally see it and awaken or whatever. But from what I was told, you know, is that, you know, sometimes when your own twins use against you and they do demonic and things like that, it still creates karma. And now he has to go through karma, and he has to go through all the things that he has done, right? And yeah, they had fallen from grace, right? And that's what happened too. He just got darker, darker, darker. He had fallen from grace. His spiritual gifts were taken away. We used to be able to connect telepathically. Like, that was taken away, and I've been seeing all of this happen. And I've been told, stand down, walk away, time's up. I asked for more time. I was given like another year, and like, he's just done so much dark stuff. And, you know, God, divine source is not gonna let that keep happening, right? So contracts are done. Contracts have been voided. They've been reassigned. You need to know that too. When you do walk away from a twin, you are going to be having another connection that's going to be equally yoked with you, that's going to be another divine, right? Especially the divines that do their work. Like, I'm sure I'm not the only corrupted twin flame, so I know there's a masculine out there where his feminine got corrupted and destroyed, so then we get partnered and aligned, right? In new contracts. So for some of you, you got new lovers coming in, but you have to walk away. It's just so hard for me because I hate letting. It's not fair. You know, I awakened and I felt like it was my responsibility to awaken him, but it's a choice, right? I tried so much to get him to awaken, you know, and he just couldn't. And like, it's but anyway, so when they get their contract taken and give it to another, they're getting like your twins contract. So, you know, ultimately, you know, you still get to, but you know, these twin flame journeys are about, that's why we do so much corruption and everything, but then we still forgive and we open our hearts back up to love, because it's like, I forgive everything that he's done to me, even his family, because I know that they are just corrupted and ran by evil, that I'm going to send them love and light. They're going to have to deal with God, divine source, and all of their karma, but I'm not going to have my heart be dark. And ultimately this connects you back with divine source, you know. And that's why, like, I know that I'm good enough, and that's really what empowered me to get away too, is I was like, he was always third partying me, putting his mother before me. See, that's why it was like in the readings all the time, like you hear third party, all of this, like it took me till like 6 months ago till I finally realized that the third party's his mother. Like a year ago, I was thinking he's picking girls and guys or whatever over me and stuff. And I'm like, well, is it the addiction? You know, and things like that. But it's just, I always do or whatever. So yeah, it was his mother. So, anyway, I finally was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. Because I don't do drugs. I don't drink. You know, I don't do any of that stuff. And, you know, I was like, I deserve to be with somebody that's not going to drink, not going to do drugs, that is going to be able to enjoy life, that's going to build with me, that I have all of these passions and dreams and desires that I want. 37:07 on the clock as I say that. And it's like, I knew that I was losing my soul, you know. And I was like, no, I am not going to let this. I'm choosing me. I'm loving me. I'm enough. I will be fine by myself, building my business, right? And taking off. And I know that even when he came in, we were supposed to build together, but now I'm going to be building by myself, you know. And I know that it's meant for you to be together with the divine. So I know that God, divine source, that's why there's a new contract. I know that there is going to be somebody that's going to be coming in because it's how it works. But I'm not going to go looking any longer, right? So that's why when you finally like sacrifice the twin flame journey, let go of it, focus on just loving you, building with you, letting go of fear. Like, I'm fully trusting in divine source to guide me at this time. Like, I didn't know what I'm going to do. I gave up everything. My family lost everything, but it's been like 3 weeks now, right? And I'm still taking care of myself and my kids, just healing from all of this, right? I don't know where I'm going or what I'm doing, but it's exciting, and I love that I feel free and that the spell work and everything is starting to fade, right? It's not as much. So yeah, you know, ultimately it's about connecting back with, opening your heart to love, connecting with God, divine source, knowing you are complete, right? So I'm finally balancing back out, and I'm excited for my new, you know, adventure. Even though it's still hard to talk about this, that's why I'm still upset. But like, I've been working a lot with the angels to heal my heart, right? And just focusing on myself and my kids, and it's the calmest it's ever been. It's been so nice to have things calm, and my children, to see them calm, you know. So yeah, sometimes it's too much attacking you, too much coming at you, you know. But it was like, I was like, our love was just so much that we just endured all of it. But ultimately, you know, you can't awaken your twin. They have to. They have to, but sometimes there can be mental illness. That's what I mean. He's struggling with addictions, mental illness, family, like, right? Sometimes the pain's just so much, right? And he just, for him to let go of everything, he's just not strong enough to let go of everything that he knows, because he'd have to let go of his friends, his family, fully choose me, and knowing I've got no support system whatsoever, you know, like, that it's just me, it just wasn't enough. So sometimes it's just, you have to let him go. So don't get caught up in this. You have to be with your twin. If I would stay with him, my life would be a terror. You know, I wouldn't make it. I would end up just not being here anymore. So, yeah, you have to stop focusing on you have to be with your twin. Literally. Because you don't know if you're in one of these families where they knew who you were. You know, and our twin flame journey was cauterized when we were little, because it was like both of our family were cult, or, you know, our parents were cult leaders, so they knew who we were. So they were trying to sacrifice us. Like, my own father had life insurance policies out on me. It did a lot of dangerous things where I could have died many times, but I never did. You know? And then even when I was older, he tried to get another life insurance policy on him when I told him that, you know, that the cancer could be coming back or whatever, because my tests were coming up, of course, after I had my kids. And stuff. He was trying to get me to, no compassion whatsoever, not like, wow, sorry, you know, well, you know, it's just that all of a sudden he's got attorneys calling me and everything to try to get more life insurance policies. So it's like, what? Here we go again. Yeah, but no, I just found natural ways to heal myself again, and fine again. So, well, anyways, guys, that was my story. So I know it was emotional or whatever, but it's let you guys don't glamorize the twin flame things. Just don't. You really don't know everything that goes on, but we are chosen ones, right? And I still feel very blessed, and all of the gifts that I have in this spiritual work that I'm going to be doing, you know, the amount of love and people that we're going to awaken and that we're going to save, they're definitely worth it, right? But yeah, it takes the chosen to be able to go through these things, to still be able to release love out of these things, right? And you never know, maybe for some of you, if you're in corrupt families and things like that, maybe there are some stories where there are some powerful people that can walk away from everything and everybody that they know will fully choose. And maybe those are the beautiful ones that are in union, but I'm going to tell you, more often than not, it's probably the ones that have let go of their twin and then get blessed by God and get another another soulmate. And then they feel like they're twins because, yeah, they got their twins contract. More often than not, that's probably what happened. They just might not be highly psychic and know everything that happened like I do. Because I knew that I was gifted and highly psychic, and I've always been able to see this stuff. So, all right. Love and light to all of you. Definitely share this story, right? Share it, like it, comment, help awaken people to the true twin flame journey. Love and light to all of you. Bye.